D-Rod. Oh, hand looks sore. Congratulations on a fantastic fight. It looked like a very hard, grueling fight. You've obviously had a little time to digest it and think about it. Give us your thoughts on the fight and your performance.
Oh, man, that fight went exactly how I imagined it would have played out, you know, given it's Kevin Holland, you know, crazy-ass dudes. Yeah, I was excited to get this matchup, and I only had 3.5 weeks to prepare for it. You know, I didn't really prepare for him in particular. It was really like, you know, just get myself ready to fight, you know.
Yeah. Obviously, you hurt him bad. You nearly had him out at one point in the second round. How close were you to getting him?
Man, I thought I had him, you know, knocked him down, landed 2 hard shots, and, you know, I realized like 10 seconds after that, I was like, you know what, I don't want to waste all my energy. Let him get back up. You know, I felt like I had him hurt, you know, and just kept going for it.
Yeah, and then in the third round, he sort of got you with, I think it was an uppercut. How rocked were you in that round?
Yeah, I don't even remember that happening, bro. You know, I just, I don't know. I was like, what? I got rocked, you know, but, you know.
And then just how happy are you to get the victory, even with the 3 weeks preparation that you just mentioned?
Oh, man, this fight means everything to me. Hopefully it comes with a spot in the rankings, you know, riding a 3-fight win streak. Nothing but big names, you know, and you know, I'm a big name myself, man. That's how I feel right now.
Congratulations, man.
D-Rod over here. Congratulations on the victory. You're obviously one of the toughest human beings to step in the octagon. Is there anything like growing up that made you realize how tough you are?
Yeah, man. Every time I step in the cage or the octagon, you know, I carry everything that I've ever been through in my life. You know, I come from nothing. I come from a jail background, gang-related background. You know, and I changed my life. You know, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for everything and all the opportunities that I have now. You know, and just, you know, my life could be way different. So every day that I wake up and I'm able to do this, I give it my all.
D-Rod, on Media Day, we spoke a little bit about momentum, and we talked about, you know, the fact that you and Kevin both had 2 wins coming into this one. Now tonight, you have 3 in a row. So what can you tell me about the momentum that you've got right now?
Man, a couple fights ago, I was riding a 3-fight losing streak, you know, and now it's a 3-fight win streak, 3 big names, 3 solid competitors in the UFC, and it's all momentum. You know, the first one was the start of it. The second one, knockout, and this one is even bigger. It's probably one of the biggest wins of my career, and it's all momentum from here. It means everything to me. It's my career. It's my blood, sweat, and tears every single day. So the fact that I'm in the position I'm in right now, it just makes me like, it's just like a career revival to me. You know, so I'm all in. I've always been all in, but you know, I'm here to stay.
You're kind of hinting at it. I think it's safe to say you might be hitting a new stride within your career. Is there anything that you believe that's really been a key factor to help you get to where you're at right now?
It's just the team, my team, you know, my own self-will, my own willingness to get up and do this shit every single day. It's not easy, man. It's one of the toughest sports in the world, most competitive sports in the world. And you know, I'm a dog, man. The fact that I'm able to go out here and beat a dude like Kevin Holland it's crazy, you know. But it's all through hard work and just believe in myself.
And last question, what did tonight's victory teach you about yourself, man?
Man, tonight's victory showed me, like, you know, I got that true heart, but I already knew that. You know, I just had to show everybody. You know, I showed I could bounce back from getting knocked down, hard fight, and yeah, man, I think that shit deserves a fucking bonus if you ask me. Thank you.
Mr. Rodriguez, I have a question right here. What would you think about a possible matchup against a legend like Gilbert Burns?
Who?
You against Gilbert Burns next. What do you think about
Gilbert Burns? You know, if the UFC wants that, I mean, I'm not looking to fight Gilbert Burns. He's a homie, but if that's what the UFC wants, I'm willing to fight anybody. I'll never say no.
And thank you for your performance. You always put on great fights. Thank you.
Thank you.
fame-worthy inclusions. Maybe this will end up fight of the year. He'll finish his career with 3. That feels like the Dustin Poirier story of great, but not a champion. And that kind of put a little bow on it in a very apropos way.
Yeah, it was that those first 2 rounds are just insane. Like the volume those guys were throwing, the heaters that they were connecting with.
Max came out so hot, so hot.
He really did. I love the body work. He was kicking a lot. I think the turning point in this entire fight was Max kicking him in the left side of the ribs, because Dustin valiantly fought through it, hurt Max, almost got him out of there, almost got the gilly, as you just said. But the rest of the way, you could see him sort of favoring that left side. The welts, the sort of dents on the side of his body were just absolutely nasty. And I don't think Poirier like fully recovered from that. But in true Dustin Poirier fashion, dude just bites down on the mouthpiece and just does the best he can, man. Like he just battled to the end.
Yeah, I wish he'd honestly done a little bit more of that, because when he, like in the second round, he basically just had a lot of success when he started to really just like, all right, screw it, I'll just work through the pain. And I'm sure the pain was substantial. Max just kept hitting him, and that was it. Like Max never let Poirier really build momentum. And this really is just a testament to how great of a fighter Max Holloway is. He is, I have said for quite some time, I think Max Holloway is probably certainly one of the 15 best fighters of all time, and could easily convince me he's in that top 10, and still has plenty of his career left. I don't think he's in his best version anymore. But again, I don't think Dustin's his best either. But I don't think either guy is too diminished from their peaks. And Max just wasn't the same dude that Dustin fought the last time, 5-6 years ago, whatever that was. He had more tools. He brought them to bear more effectively. And he stymied Dustin when Dustin started to have success. Max would shift, he'd adjust, and Dustin couldn't continue to kind of shift his own offense.
I think there are some comments during the watch party that I didn't fully agree with, but something that you said to start the watch party, and we've been kind of both been saying throughout the week. I think one thing was fully clear at the end of this fight. Dustin Poirier is picking the perfect time to call it a career. He's walking away at the right time, and the success that this man had staying in the top 10 in this division. This division is the best in MMA. It's one of the toughest divisions in all of sports. And the fact that Dustin Poirier was not only ranked so highly, but actually fought for the belt 13 months ago is insane. Just absolutely insane, the career this guy had. You mentioned all the accolades with the incredible fights and some of the battles, but now that the smoke has cleared and we sort of run down, and I know we sort of touched on this on BTL, and there'll be lots of Poirier talk throughout the week, so don't worry about that. There's lots of other things that happen here tonight as well. You have a couple of bourbons, you Uber home, you have a pizza, you sit on the couch, you're like, I'm just going to watch fights while I scarf this pizza down before I go to bed. Which Dustin Poirier fight is the first one you're putting on? What's the go-to?
It's a really good question. I think the first Dustin Poirier fight I go to is Max 2. Especially if I'm looking for Dustin winning, right? Like, because that's, you're trying to watch a Dustin fight, you probably want him to win. I think Dustin 2 is one of the...
Paulo, congratulations on a great win and a great performance. How happy are you not just to have the win, but to look almost as good as you ever have in tonight's fight?
Thank you very much. I'm super happy. I'm grateful for God because I passed through bad moments. Maybe the worst moment in my career. I need to have a lot, focus, equilibrium, balance, good people surround me to come here tonight and perform like that very well against a very tough opponent. Kopilov is a great fighter. He's top level, world level, high level on striking. Yes, and God support me. God keep me strong to come here tonight and and perform.
There were a couple of times that you hurt him, as to the body as well. Were you making sure that you remained composed and didn't get carried away trying to finish him? You wanted to just make sure you were composed the whole thing?
Pode ajudar, Fabiano?
Você estava machucando ele. Você queria certificar, às vezes, poderia, talvez, ter ido mais para cima, às vezes. Talvez você não foi com tanta sede ao pote, falou assim, vou manter a compostura aqui, porque se eu for com muita sede, pode ser alguma coisa. Então, você foi calmo.
Yes, exactly. He is very talented, and dangerous as well. He has that kick, that high kick, head kick. Everybody knows about that. I was aware about that. His hands is pretty fast. So, and my confidence, I need to work, more on that because this is the very first fight after these 2 losses. So, I gotta regain the confidence to finish this fight. Next moments. I was more conservative, for sure.
Was it the loss to Israel that made you lose confidence, or was it just a few performances that in a row?
After I don't count that losses to Adesanya because I don't want to take credit for him, but man, I was no sleep. Was Abu Dhabi, and Abu Dhabi is crazy because when we make weight on Friday morning, the fight was like Saturday morning. Saturday is 5 a.m., 6 a.m. So didn't give him time back. It was horrible to me. I need to. Everybody knows about the wine stuff. I was pretty much drunk. So I don't count that. But after that, Vettori, I think, was not very fair, the result. Then I won Luke, yes. And I had two losses to Whitaker and Strickland. These 2 hurt me, because I was there. I could perform better, but my game plan, my strategy was not good. I was bouncing and counter instead go forward. And the coaches over here, these 3 coaches, Johnny, Badola, Ineto, these guys changed my mentality, my game plan. They say, Paulo, no, you are the hunter, you are the bully. You need to go forward, pressure, put your hands and kicks. They are so strong, maybe the most strong in the whole division. So let's use that, and here I am.
You obviously called out Hamzat after the fight. At the press conference, you seemed to shake when you mentioned him. He seems to piss you off that much?
Yeah. First of all, the people say I was shaking. I was not sick or nothing, I didn't use any powder or something like that. I just was very motivated, very focused, very locked in this fight, In the backstage, I was telling to myself, yelling to myself the whole time, this is work, go to work, do your thing, You need this victory. I will not be back without this victory. This is mine. I'm better. I'm gonna. So I was locked in, 100% focused on this fight, this match. I knew this was a very tough opponent. Hunter told me, Paulo, this is a great matchup. I was a co-main event. Even Marvin and Allen, they are above me in the ranks, but we are here in the co-main event because they know. UFC know this will be a great matchup, a great fight, great comeback, great comeback from me. Yeah, and so I put too much concentration on this fight and this victory.
Yeah. Last one from me. I don't want to upset you, but Hamzat has tweeted, and he said that it was your wife who DM'd him, and that you're lying. I'm sure.
He's lying.
Yeah. Will you go to Chicago to watch his fight and show the UFC that's how bad you want to fight him?
Yes, I plan to do that. I plan to do that. If UFC allow me, I will be there in Chicago in a few weeks.
Paulo, congrats on the victory. Obviously, you're the co-main event to Dustin Poirier's last fight. What was that experience like, and do you have any memories with Dustin?
Oh, I am so honored to be here. This is not for everyone, you know. He's a legend. I remember back in the days, him against McGregor. He's part of history, you know. He's a great guy, great fighter. Yeah, he helped to build at some point this where we are right now. So, cheers for him. I hope he don't stop. I hope he keep doing maybe 2 more, maybe 1 more to finish with a great victory, right? But I'm happy. I'm glad to be here tonight in the same card, the same day. You know, the fight before him is a great.
And one more from me. Your former opponent, Luke Rockhold, he's boxing Darren Till. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Oh, I didn't know. It's interesting. I'd like to watch. Yes, Darren has a good boxing. Luke as well. Yes, it would be interesting.
Paulo, tonight, Patricio Pitbull, your teammate, he got his first UFC victory. Did you get to watch his fight? What did you think about that? And what's it like, you know, being a part of that team where a guy gets his first UFC victory tonight?
I'm super happy for Patricio. We were in the same locker room. Captain was there. Captain was his corner tonight. Yes, he's so good. You know, he's very good. I watched part of his fight because I was warming up. But what I see, I love it. You know, he was very compassado, bem equilibrado. Ele estava no ritmo dele.
In the flow, I think he's on his own rhythm.
Yes.
On his rhythm.
So he didn't. Sorry, I need you again.
Fuck you.
Ele não ficou apressado, ele manteve o passo dele e levou no passo dele, no jeito que ele achou que ia ser mais seguro.
He didn't rush into it. He kind of took it step by step, but the way that he does, and he felt that he did it in the safest way possible. You know, his own rhythm.
To get the victory, you know, to conservative as well.
Yep. Thank you, Paulo.
Of course. That's it. Good. Thank you very much.
Absolutely slaughtered a man in 4 seconds. Other bonus, I mean, I'm gonna do it for me, even though it's probably not. Tell me, Carly Judy's got me them extra cashes.
Islam
Yeah.
Lutov and Carly Judy's.
Oh, let's go, Carly.
3 bonuses.
No beef with that. Like, kind of weird that they just gave whoever scored a knockout got a bonus, and some pretty dope submissions were like, screw you.
Of course. That's how it always is.
Good for them.
That's how it always is. Someone asked this earlier, so I might as well just ask you, because it's pertinent because it happened and it was in the co-main event. Is Paulo Costa back, Jed Meshew? Because he beat the hell out of Roman Kopylov tonight. That fight was not competitive past like the 2-minute mark once Paulo started landing those kicks to the body over and over again. Paulo good, calls out Khamzat Chimaev. Is this a guy to be feared now at 185 pounds?
I mean, it depends on who you are. If you're like a lower end top 15 or unranked dude, yeah. Paulo Costa looked great tonight. His best win since Yoel Romero. He's had 1 win since Yoel Romero. It's Luke Rockhold. And while that fight was deeply fun, and I don't think people respect that fight was incredibly fun, and people should give that fight more respect. That version of Rockhold is so diminished, it's not really like a great win. This is a very good win. Roman Kopylov is a top 15 guy, and he looked sensational after a year off. Again, I'd probably not be feared, but what you got to respect about Paulo, he knows business, and he's been setting up the Khamzat fight forever. Had it booked, fell apart. You know, theoretically, he could have been released from the promotion with a lost night. Instead, delivers an absolutely A+ performance, gets on the mic, talks some shit, and says like, "Hey man, Hamzat, you're fighting for the belt. I'm coming for you." You know, if Hamzat wins, they probably don't throw him in there, but it's not 0% that Paulo gets the first title shot. And if Hamzat loses, he's 100% getting Hamzat next. So he has set himself up for a major fight, either next or in the very near future. And this is for a dude that was like a little bit lost. Coming into this, like, dude, we haven't heard from him in a year. He's lost a bunch in a row. He's way too active, like way too online. And now right back in the thick of it at 185. I would not say he's like a genuine title challenger because 185 has had so much progression over the past like 18, 24 months, but still a big name, and the things break right. He is absolutely one win away from fighting for a belt right now and could get lucky and fight for a belt next.
It's so crazy. We got a legit number one contender fight in a competitive division that is signed, sealed, and delivered. And Paulo Costa could very well find himself in a title fight, despite what happens with Caio Borralho and Nasruddin Imavov. If Hamzat Chimaev wins the belt, they will probably go to Costa.
There's a really good chance, man. There's a really good chance.
So good win for Paulo. He looked really good. Kevin Holland, Daniel Rodriguez. Jesus Christ, man. I'm telling you.
That's my favorite fight of the year.
If you miss that fight, look, this is one of those things that is going to be like such a weird take, but if it's one of those things where, of course, for the moment and just to see Dustin Poirier fight for the final time, like obviously go back and watch it. But if you did not buy this pay-per-view and a magic genie floated in your house and it said, "Hey, pick one fight to watch from tonight that you didn't get to watch on pay-per-view, and then I'll give you the rest of the pay-per-view for free in a month," which fight are you picking? It is absolutely Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez. It's so insane. Like I can't do it justice if you didn't watch it. We were laughing hysterically at this fight because of just the absolute insanity of it. It's wild. And I think you nailed it when you said it's a different sort of version, but very similar to the Glover Teixeira Yuri Prochazka fight.
It is the store brand version of Glover Yuri. 3 rounds instead of 5. It's the same damn fight. And again, Glover Yuri honestly might actually be the best fight that's ever happened in the sport. And I would say it is, to me, unquestionably top 5. That fight was so silly. And I had the most. I think like if we're not being silly gooses and we're trying to be like real people, you're probably supposed to put the main event above Holland Rodriguez as far as fight of the year goes, because it's just a much higher level of technical sophistication. The second round was insane. General momentum swings, a lot of story unfolding. Is a terrific fight in sort of those traditional senses. I have not had more fun than I've had watching Kevin Holland and Danny Rodriguez fight this year. Like, this is easily the most fun I've had watching a fist fight this year. It was just a total calamity in the rounds 2 and 3. I still don't understand how neither man finished the fight when their opponents were like clearly just dead. Like, Kevin Holland was mounted and had nothing. And Daniel Rodriguez, I think you said it in real time, was like,
$8.09 million, the highest grossing gate ever at the arena. The fight of the night was Vettori and Allen. Performance of the night, Islam, Gautier, and is that Carly? Yeah. Okay. They all won $50,000. Congrats to them. And it was a tough one between Vettori and Kevin Holland's fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh?
And the main event as well.
Huh? Yeah. A good point. Very good point.
We'll start with the main event. Another BMF title fight that lived up to the hype, right? The two guys going there and leaving it all in the octagon. Give us your thoughts on the fight and how it played out.
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible fight. I thought going into the last round, the fight was closer than the judges had it, but it lived up to what it was supposed to be. The card did. The card was great.
Fantastic. When When you see Max do his point at the ground in the last 10 seconds, is there any part of you that thinks, just as a fight fan, like, you're going to have to stop doing this eventually?
No, I go, oh, hell yeah. You know, me and my crew were talking about it earlier tonight before we came to the fights. Like, everybody acts like they want to do that shit. They don't want to do it. Max is like the only guy that actually wants to do that. And it's one of the million reasons why people love him.
What did you think when Dustin went for his guillotine at the end of round 2? Similar sort of reaction?
Yeah, I mean, there were so many of those moments in that fight where either guy could have won.
Do you look at Dustin's performance tonight? Because obviously, look, he's competing with one of the best in the world, and think to yourself, yeah, maybe he started to slow down towards the end and it's right to walk away? Or do you think, he could probably still fight against these guys and win?
Well, I've been saying that all week. I mean, they're both ranked number 4 and 5 and probably the nastiest division in the sport. But, you know me, when you think you should retire, you probably should.
As far as for Max, right, he's an interesting situation because the champion of his division is the guy he lost to in the other division. So does he have to work a little bit harder to get that rematch back, or do you think a performance like this shoes him right up there?
I think he's in a great position right now. He just defends that BMF title. He's ranked number 4 in the world there, and anything is possible for Max right now.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot. Do you think Ilya has done enough to fight Max for the BMF title and the lightweight title at the same time?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, fair enough. What were your thoughts on Kevin Holland and D-Rod fight? Kind of crazy, kind of a bit sloppy, but very entertaining. Give us your thoughts on that fight.
Yeah, I thought it was incredible. I don't know if I ever saw sloppy, but those were two guys that were absolutely they were in a war. And a couple times I felt like both of them were tired, but they dug deep and fought their asses off. Incredible fight.
Obviously, this week's been a great week.
They didn't win, but
yeah,
they're both going to do really well.
Fair enough. This week's been great in New Orleans. It felt like the city's really sort of vibed well with the UFC, brought us in and all that sort of stuff. Do you think this could be a venue that we could come back to yearly, like in Miami or Newark or something like that? I do. That's a great point. This city's incredible. I haven't been here in a long time. It's crazy. I tried to go down on Bourbon Street the other night, and I haven't been on Bourbon Street since me, Frank, and Lorenzo came here to watch the UFC to consider buying it. That was the last time I was on Bourbon Street. I didn't realize that until we came here. But the governor has been amazing. The athletic commission's been incredible. Caesar's Palace has been incredible. I mean, I could go on and on. And the way these people support their own is awesome to see. I love that kind of shit. Yes, we will figure something out here in New Orleans to make sure we come back a lot more than we have been. Did you buy one of those hand grenade drinks on Bourbon Street? I didn't make it far on Bourbon Street. I got about 15 steps, and I had to go back and get in the car and leave. So, no, I didn't get a hand grenade drink. Sounds great, though.
Just more on Dustin. He's someone that surely will be in the UFC Hall of Fame at some point down the line, right? Yeah, listen, this is a kid that, you look at his last 11 fights and who he's fought, and, always comes to fight. Good guy to deal with, and, yeah, he could be. And I know you said, if you think you should walk away, you should, but can you respect at least, his reasoning, too, as well, that he's saying, he doesn't want to be one of those guys where the sport retires him and he wants to be able to, attend his daughter's wedding, all these sorts of things later in life? I don't ever question when a guy says he wants to retire. Other than, I think Khabib and Cormier are the two guys that I've ever said, I don't know if, it's time, but, yeah, that's totally up to him. This is a rough sport. He fought a rough fight tonight, and, the way tonight went, retiring seems like the right thing to do. Yeah. Did you score it the same way as the judges? When he walked past press row, he said to me that he thought it was closer than they had. Who did? Dustin. Oh, yeah, I'm sure he did. I did, too. I just said it when I started the press conference. I thought going into the last round, it was a lot closer than they had it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just a few things outside tonight's event. Next week, we were supposed to have Aaron Pico and Movsar as the co-main in Abu Dhabi. That's obviously off now, and Aaron's saying he wants to fight in Chicago, and there's a spot. And then on the graphic, we saw a co-main event, TBA versus TBA. Is that something, could that fight land on that card, and would it be that spot? I have no idea. Right here, right now, I have no idea, yeah. Yeah. As far as also future title fights, Kayla Harrison was saying yesterday at our Q&A that she would love for you guys to give Amanda Nunes an exemption from the full 6 months of testing so she can fight her sooner. Is that something you would consider? I don't know. Definitely look into it.
well.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. And obviously the next pay-per-view is Dricus and Hamzat. Just how big is that fight in your mind for the middleweight division? We've been waiting forever to see Hamzat finally compete for a championship.
Yeah, it's big, and it's big to be back in Chicago, sold out. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I got a feeling that's going to be very much like tonight. You know, how about, I can't remember, second round or something, the crowd was so loud that the ref couldn't hear the bell. And, you know what I mean, went like another 5 seconds longer than it should have. But, yeah, I expect Chicago to be that way, too.
And I know you've got a lot of questions about the White House card potentially. Conor McGregor has said he's back in the pool with hopes of potentially fighting on that like a year from now. And then Nate Diaz said he would love to be the opponent. I know you've said that trilogy is something you could do anytime and it would make sense. Are you interested in doing business with Nate Diaz?
I love Nate. I love Nate. That fight's a year away. So I'm not even thinking about anything right now. The landscape will change so much by next 4th of July. You know, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows who's going to be on the card or what the main event will be or who will hold all the titles, and everything could be completely different. So it's not even worth thinking about it right now.
Sure. I guess just one follow-up on that, though, with John Jones. He said
I have other problems. I'm dealing with the logistics and you know, all the things on figuring out how to make this thing happen. How do we want to do it? I'm going to fly out there in about 10 days, 2 weeks, and we'll have all the renderings done, sit down with him and go through the renderings and see what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do.
Yeah, and John Jones says he wants to be on there too, and he says he would fight whoever the champion is at that time. But would you be okay with him like coming back and potentially winning that belt again? And you might have to go through.
Well, it's not even about him winning the belt. I mean, you know how I felt about him. I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong.
Fair enough.
Yeah, especially the White House card.
Dana, just seeing how this city and this arena reacted to not just Poirier, but the other fighters from Louisiana, how special was that for you?
Oh, it's always great. I mean, every time we go somewhere and the fans love what's going on, it's a hell of a night for me.
Dana, just one quick one. This week you had Power Slap piggybacking with the UFC here in New Orleans. It was the first time that Power Slap had left New Orleans or Vegas, other than going out to the Middle East. So it seemed like it brought a great culture. Had a great time out there last night. The fans loved it. What was that like out here this week?
It was a great weekend for us here, yeah. And I'm glad this is where we brought it first. And that arena was like it was built for Power Slap. I mean, it couldn't have been more perfect. The fights were incredible, and yeah, it was a home run. So I'm really happy about the entire weekend here in New Orleans.
Do you think that once you get Power Slap kind of on the road officially like that, maybe almost every pay-per-view will have a Power Slap card to go with it?
I don't know. My game plan with that, for those of you that have come and seen it live, it's like the UFC in the early days. You know, half the battle for me was getting people into the live event, because nobody would come to a live event and go, yeah, I don't ever want to come to one of these again. And that never happens with Power Slap. It's the exact opposite. Everybody who comes to Power Slap goes, wow, this is way better than I expected it to be, and it's a great live event. So the game plan is exactly the same. Move it around the country, take it everywhere, and let people come experience it live. Thank you.
Dana, you had mentioned about New Orleans and everything like that. We had, of course, Dustin. Earlier, we had Brendan Allen. We had Carly Judiz. What can you say about these Louisiana fighters that you have right now?
What can I say about them?
Yeah,
we like them. They're great. Tonight was a huge success. Obviously the gate, the buzz, the energy in this town, and everything. I mean, it couldn't have been better. And everybody showed up and put on a great performance. So, yeah, very happy.
Just one quick, maybe stupid one for me. I always notice the Power Slap solo cup there. What does Dana White drink in that power? I see you with
lots of different things.
What's in that post fight?
Right now, it's Coke Zero. Yeah.
Dana over here.
Yep.
Just one. Two fan favorites in the lightweight division, Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway. They've both lost to the champion. Ilya, are you open to doing a Max Holloway-Charles Oliveira fight for the BMF belt?
Anything's possible. I like his idea, I like your idea. The great thing about that division is there's so many incredible fights that you can do. You know, you have Ilya, who's the champion. You got him with a BMF belt, and there's a lot of things we can do.
Thanks, Dana.
Yep.
Dana, just one for me about the White House card. Do you expect the logistics to be more intense than the Sphere was, or do you think it's going to be easier than?
No. Not the Spheres. Listen, there's been one person that's done the Sphere, right? I thought after we did it, people would be running to the Sphere to do it. The Sphere is very challenging and very expensive. The difference with the White House is that I don't think they've ever had anything very heavy out on the lawn, and the octagon alone weighs 20,000 pounds. So,
you don't think the outdoor is going to be harder to deal with than?
Oh, it will be, in its own ways, but not harder than the Sphere.
Okay.
Sphere is very unique and very challenging.
Hey Dana, I have a question right here.
Yep.
What do you think about Islam Dulatov's performance? He's a huge star in Germany. The UFC hasn't been in Germany since 2016. What do you think about the performance? And when is the UFC coming back to Germany? The fans are waiting. Everybody is going crazy. When is the UFC coming back to Germany?
Who did that?
What do you think about Islam Dulatov, his performance? He's
Yeah.
a huge star in Germany. UFC has not been to Germany since 2016. When are we coming back to Germany?
Yeah, that's a great question, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, obviously he won a performance bonus, so he obviously did great tonight. But yeah, Germany's interesting, and you know we had a run there where we were heading to Germany all the time, like you said, and I don't know the answer to that question, but yeah.
Second question, Dana. Does it make you proud to see someone like Dustin and Max? They have over 60 combined fights in the UFC. Does it make you proud to, like, even you grew up with them together and see how far they come? They always performed, always made weight. Does it make you proud, like, to have two fighters like that on the roster?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why. I mean, that's why. You know, all of you guys and myself and you know, if you look at the way we celebrated him tonight on television, you guys probably didn't see it, but if you see a lot of stuff, even Mark Zuckerberg had posted about, you know, how we told the story of Dustin Poirier tonight. Yeah, we have a lot of respect for him, proud of him, and same thing with Max.
Is there a favorite moment in Dustin's career? Maybe a story that we don't know, or like a favorite fight, a moment of Dustin's career?
Off the top of my head, I mean, he's had a badass, unbelievable career and has accomplished a lot of things. But off the top of my head, there's not one moment that stands out, no.
And last question for me, how big is the possibility that we ever see a podcast on Joe Rogan, you, Joe Rogan, and Conor McGregor?
Probably never. Probably never.
Thank you, Dana. Great
All right.
show tonight.
Thank you.
Dana, I want to go back to the early prelims. Jimmy Crute called out Dustin Jacoby. We know Dustin's out with a hand injury, obviously, but he kind of teased about, Dustin kind of teased about November 30th, down for the challenge. You know, those two guys, Jimmy performed well tonight. What kind of matchup would that look like?
Right here, right now. Again, I don't even think about this shit at the end of the night. We'll take the weekend, and on Tuesday we do matchmaking, and we start to talk about what's next and what we want to do and what we don't want to do. I really don't think about that stuff tonight. Go ahead.
Dana, now that Dustin's career is said and done, what do you want people to take away from not just his career, but also the growth that he had from the time that he started up to now?
Yeah, well, like I said, I think tonight, you know, we celebrated Dustin, you know, on the broadcast, and then to have the fight here in front of his, you know, his people, and they showed up, and they, you know, they made the event really fun tonight. My girl Amber was saying to me, I was already in the back room, and she said not one person has left this arena when he was still out there talking. That's pretty special. I mean, you guys know you've done enough fights. Before Rogan even gets up into the octagon, half the place is gone. So the fact that they all stayed here for him tonight, showed up for him tonight, broke the arena record tonight, the list goes on and on. A big night for him.
Thank you, Dana.
Dana, over here. One question, Dana.
Yep.
Over here, back here.
Yep.
Do you think it played a factor that Dustin announced the retirement? Because it kind of seemed like just the emotions, everything that he went through kind of played a factor early on in that fight. Do you think that played a factor early on in the fight for him?
Do I think that because he announced the
just the emotions he went through during the week, you know, people sending him cards and all the things, the reception he got, do you think that kind of played a factor, just kind of making him emotional in early on in that fight?
You'll have to ask him when he gets in here. I don't know, but yeah, I would imagine it was hard for him not to be emotional. I mean, even when he was saying earlier, you know, what if he had won? Would he come back? Would he, you know? I think that when you do what these guys do, and you come here and this is your last fight ever, and you walk out of that tunnel and you get the reception that you get at the end of a round that you did well, the place is so loud, the ref can't even hear the bell, and shit like that, it's got to be so hard to walk away from this and the feeling that you get from it. So I'm sure it was very emotional. It's probably going to be emotional for him for the next week.
Just one more. Could you, obviously don't expect you to mention any names, but if another fighter who you thought in the same regard as Dustin came to you and said, I want to do a retirement fight in my hometown, like, would you try to effort on doing something like this again?
Well, we always try to, you know, there's guys who, you know, start to work their way up and then want to fight in their hometowns. Some guys who become big don't want anything to do with fighting in their hometowns. You know, there's a lot of different feelings about it. But yeah, I mean, we always try to figure stuff out if guys want it, but it's not always possible to say, okay, we'll give you a retirement fight in your hometown and you don't have the title, or, you know, you could do a fight night or something like that. But yeah, we would always try to do it.
Yeah, a lot of stars got to align. I don't know if you were asked about Patricio Pitbull, 2 fights in. What do you think of what he's done here?
What was the question?
Patricio Pitbull.
Yeah.
What do you think of his win tonight and just what he's, you know, 1-1 so far in the UFC?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to come to the UFC, and you know, it's a lot of pressure. You know, I don't care how many times you fought and what you've done. It's a different vibe when you come here, and you know, yeah.
Thank you, Dana.
Cool. Thanks. Have a good night, and thank you, New Orleans. It was awesome.
Okay. And that wasn't even a bad fight. It was just I had higher expectations, and it was a professional win for Pitbull. You know, like, gotta respect it. Never gonna revisit it and talk about it being great. I'll also say and this is perhaps just where the headspace I was in. The co-main event for the Usyk Dubois fight was, it was heavyweight boxing, but not good heavyweights, and so that was a tough hang.
I was gonna say it probably was from boxing.
It was a tough hang.
Yeah.
They did the same 3 things for 10 rounds, and it was bad.
Shout out to Davidson Baker. If it's who I think it is, good to hear from you, my man. Davidson Baker has the greatest moment in the history of BTL, by the way.
Okay.
Davidson, if this is the same Davidson Baker, on the old iteration of BTL, this is pre-MMA fighting. There was a fight between, God, who was it? I don't know if it was Johnny Walker and somebody else. And Davidson made this proclamation on the show that there's no way, or yeah, it was Johnny Walker and somebody else. There's no way this goes to the cards. He goes, if this goes to the cards, I will shave my head. And we decided that if it goes to the cards, you have to cut your hair like Larry David.
Nah, wow,
and he
that's
did it.
way worse than shaving.
He
your
did
head.
it. Did the reveal live on the show. And it was actually like the final BTL before I came to MMA Fighting. So it was a terrific moment in all of our lives. So if that's you, Davidson, you're the man. Nick, is there any other fighter you can think of that's maintained a level of hunger/fire the way Max has? He's fought like he's still chasing it.
I mean, he is still chasing it. That's
Sure.
the thing. So that's not a bad question, and I'd have to think about it. I'm sure that there are, right? Like I am certain that there still are, but the reason they are is the same reason Max is still chasing it. He has been chasing it. Because Max's career is so front shifted, because he was so young when he started and he won the belt and was still fairly young, and then lost the belt before he was 30. I think he lost the belt when he was 29. It was not like okay, I lost the belt and now I'll do the retirement tour. It was like, I lost the belt and I'm still in the prime years of my career. And so he kept fighting that way because he had to keep winning fights to try and get back to the belt. And now he's never going to get the featherweight belt again, but he can still chase the lightweight belt. And so I mean, credit to him for still being engaged. But again, I am certain Max Holloway looks at himself and says, I'm a 33-year-old man who's still one of the very best fighters in the world. I can win the belt. And so he kind of gets a benefit in that regard, where other fighters, because he is so great, his career, he could have retired at 29 and would have had a Hall of Fame career. He still has more to give.
Oh, show. Take a couple more and we're going to get out of here. Joseph, will Pitbull's win put him in the top 15 at featherweight? Yeah, it has to,
obviously.
right? Because Dan Ige was
Dan
ranked.
Ige is number 11, I believe. Let me confirm. Dan Ige is number 11. Pitbull will be
man.
number 11.
I don't think he will
and
be.
Poor Bryce Mitchell will be removed from the rankings.
I think Steve Garcia will have 11 to himself.
Oh, perhaps that's true.
Pitbull will probably end up in between, probably just before David Onama.
It's very possible Steve Garcia will have 11 because he shares it with Ige.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost not a competitive or compelling fight, but he didn't get his doors blown off by Yair, who's number 3 in the rankings. So they're not going to hold that against him.
What? Another Joseph question. Will Dustin headline the Hall of Fame class next year? What fight of his will go in the fight wing? So many. It'll be a couple.
That's the thing. Like the fight wing is stupid because there are way too many good fights and they're only inducting one a year. My guess is his fight with Max 2 will be the first one inducted, but it could be Zombie, it could be Gaethje, it could be Dan Hooker, it could be Michael Chandler. Like there could be any number of them. It could be Eddie Alvarez that get inducted. And so he won't headline the class. Again, like that, but he's not supposed to. Dustin Poirier is beloved, but not great. He's great, but not great, if that makes sense. And so there will be some champion that deserves it, like if Izzy retires and gets inducted next year, if Volk retires and gets Usman, all of them would headline over him, right? Like that's theoretically John may or may not be retired. He'll get in over Poirier will get inducted. I would guess he'll get inducted next year, but it's also might not. They might wait a little bit because they don't have to. And so I would say he'll certainly be inducted. Don't know if it'll be next year. I'd say it's unlikely he'll be the sort of big name coming in.
A couple notes from the press conference.
Okay.
Aaron Braunstetter giving us some notes.
We love notes.
Dana White said he had a hard time picking the fight of the night between the three. That obviously had the best chance of it. White says he's unsure what the co-main event at 319 is. White says he loves Nate Diaz, but isn't thinking about a McGregor-Diaz trilogy right now when it comes to the White House card, and says they sell him sort of. Oh, you're going to love this.
I saw it. I'm pretty pumped.
White says that he cannot risk having John Jones fight on the White House card and have something go wrong.
Read between the lines, baby.
Oh, man.
God, you goddamn right.
Okay, stop fighting Tom Aspinall. Okay.
Yeah, he's
not fighting him. Anything else? White says nobody left the arena following the main events. White says that the UFC always tries to find a way for fighters to be in their hometown, but the stars would have to align in order for something like tonight to take place again, which, makes sense.
Perfectly solid. Islam with a nice shout out to Dustin.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Love to see that. You just love to see it. Just bleed from Real James. Let's see. Anything else? What do we got? Do we have a? Yeah, Dustin's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. He will be the guy next year.
Yeah, I saw Luke in his live chat be like debating it, and it seems I love Luke. It's very stupid. He's obviously going in. Like if this were a meritocracy, maybe like we'd question it. But if you're conceptualizing your Hall of Fame to not include someone like Dustin Poirier, I think you're just doing it wrong, right? You're being far too exclusive. Dustin Poirier is one of the is very accomplished and is deeply beloved. Like how are those are the exact people to celebrate in a Hall of Fame. Someone that telling the story of MMA the last 15 years, like you inexorably have to include his career as part of it. And so, he's not a long-time champion, but if the Hall of Fame is just the Hall of Champions, then what are we doing here,
Last question from Blood and Beer. Aside from Max, who did the most on this card for their career?
I don't think Max honestly did much for his career, so I wouldn't even pick him. It was great to win.
Dustin, a little time to reflect. I know you said walking past press row there that you thought the fight was closer than they scored it. It seemed like, you're getting celebrated, but felt like you were more annoyed and pissed off about the result.
Yeah, man, obviously I wanted to win. Max is a great fighter, tough competitor. I just felt, being inside the eye of the storm, it felt a lot closer to me. I really thought it might have been 2-2 going into the fifth. Mike Brown checked the scorecards when we got to the locker room, and I think the judges gave me different rounds, so I don't know, I think all the judges gave him the second round. I thought I almost had him out. He hurt me too, but I thought my shot was, when I followed up with elbows, I was cracking him. He told me in the medical tent, he said, man, you had me out. We couldn't hear the bell, so it felt, being in the fight, it felt like a lot closer than that. When I heard the judges 49, whatever, I was like, no way. It's closer than that. But like the man says, it is what it is.
Does any part of you regret going for the guillotine and not continuing to punch in that?
When I had him hurt?
Yeah.
Nah, never.
Had to do one last one.
One last one. And damn, I really thought that was going to be the one, man. I had him hurt, but he rolled to his back, and I just couldn't control it.
Yeah. And any more immediate thoughts about what you could have done different? I know that'll evolve over time as you watch it back. But
I felt like, going into the fifth, I thought it was close. I thought it might have been 2-2. So winning the fifth, I could have put myself in harm's way a little bit more. Maybe I would have got finished. Maybe I would have finished him. I could have took more chances in the fifth. But up until that point, I was playing it. I was trying to fight like a professional, be smart. It seemed like he was waiting to counter me with his right hand every time I would come in. But the crazy thing is, he never threw it. But he felt like his footwork and his movement was ready to throw that right hand. So I didn't want to take too many risks getting countered. I didn't want to miss and get countered. And he had already hurt me in the second round. So, man, I fought, and I thought I was doing well. I thought it was close rounds every time. So looking back, hindsight's always 20/20. But I thought I fought smart, and yeah, I tried to win, man. I really did.
how does your body feel right now? Because he was kicking you and punching you a lot in the body.
Yeah. The shots he was landing with his right hand, those long right hands were hitting the right side of my body. I'm fine. The kicks, though. The kicks on my left side's a little banged up.
And I know like the dream scenario would have been get your hand raised, never lose 2 in a row, all those things. Does any part of you digest this and think like it didn't go your way, and that's even more reason that shows like you're making the right decision to walk away right now?
No, I thought I freaking competed with the best guy in the world, and I thought it was close. I felt good in there. Cardio felt good. My movement felt good. But and I wanted that. I wanted to go show that I can compete and make it close to where I can say, hey, look, I'm still at the top of my game. I'm going out because I want to. You know, I wanted it to be a war and a drag 'em out fight. And yeah.
Well, I think you proved that. And I mean, from everything that's happened this week, the way you've been celebrated, like I'm sure you can't sit up there feeling like a loser by any stretch. This was such a win, the whole experience, it feels like.
It was amazing. I really felt appreciated this week. And I know I said it a couple times in interviews when people ask me about it. I never look back or look at it on like a third person before this week and say, wow, I did accomplish a lot in the sport, or, you know, I did make people feel certain ways and make people inspired. I didn't think about that, but the love and the outreach this week has been incredible, and I really feel it, you know. I really feel it, and I'm just thankful that people got inspired or people follow my journey, and you know, you can do anything you put your mind to, and that's what I want my story to be. I want people to realize that no matter where you come from, if you believe and work hard enough, you can make dreams happen, you know, because I'm just a kid out here walking out with Lil Wayne, living his dreams, man, crazy. Putting on wars, you know, with the best guys in the world. What a beautiful life. It's a beautiful story because I know the author. That's what it is.
Dustin, now it's funny to see you up here frustrated about this result because now you're retired. Are you going to have to get less competitive, or are you going to be one of those sort of dads at the soccer game shouting from the sidelines and continue on?
Dude, nobody wants to get in the fight of the night on the soccer sideline, man. I promise you that. I still got it. We'll see, man. I have a lot of stuff to keep me busy, but nothing's ever gonna fill this. You know, nothing's ever gonna fill that void of walking out to a crowd, trying to will you to win, and fighting one of the best guys in the world for 25 minutes. I don't know if anything's ever gonna feel that way again, but hopefully I can find something. You know, I would love to stay connected to the sport, keep working for ESPN. You know, the sport has given me everything I have in life, and I would love to watch other kids chase their dreams and put my 2 cents in what I think I learned through this decades of doing this.
Obviously, when you're in the fight, it's about to start, you're getting your introduction, you're focused, but as you went in the cage, was there a part of you to think, I have to take this in because this is the last time?
Yeah, all week I've been thinking about that. I need to be in the moment. I want to feel it all. Because a lot of times you can get, lose those moments because adrenaline and your blinders are on, your tunnel vision. Adrenaline's pumping so hard, you're just focused on the task at hand. But I was able to, as much as I could, just embrace it all and really breathe it in. And wow, I'm here in my home state. And I just felt the love, in my home state with a great opponent who's going to bring it. And that's exactly what happened,
Congratulations on an amazing career.
Thank you, sir.
What was it like just coming out and hearing the fans and just that moment where an entire arena is rocking for you in your retirement fight?
It felt incredible. It felt unreal. It felt like a movie, I felt like I was just watching it from outside, It was really cool. I felt the love, and then turning back and seeing Wayne, walking with us, and it's just, I'm from the streets of Louisiana. Like, I grew up listening to No Limit and Cash Money, and the guys walking with me, it's crazy.
And I'm sure you knew if the fight got to the end of the 5th round, that point was going to come. What was kind of going through your head in that moment?
Yeah, and then I was like, I wanted to do it, That's why I kept looking up at the clock. I said, when are we doing this? Yeah, you saw me looking at the clock a few times. I'm like, well, okay, that's 25 seconds left. I said, not time yet. Then we pointed down. I said, okay, I oblige. And then he hit me with a few shots. And I said, okay, we're going to wrestle a little bit. Let me clinch up. There's only 8 seconds left.
And just, seeing the video that the UFC put together for you and doing that last, walk out of the octagon, what was going through your mind?
The video, man. The video was tough to watch just because this whole journey means so much to me. And seeing my mom and my first martial arts kickboxing coach on there, I didn't even know they got him to film that. Seeing my daughter talk, really pulled at my heartstrings, man. I'm just thankful that I have this journey and documented and people followed along for so long. It's amazing. Not that I didn't feel like I meant that much to the company. I just never thought about it. I didn't know that people cared that much. I thought I was just fighting and feeding my family. I didn't know I had touched so many people until this last week. Thank you.
Dustin, at the end of the fight, you had the Acadiana flag draped on you. Talk about being able to represent the Acadiana area on such a large stage for the career that you've had here in the UFC.
Yeah, I've been representing Acadiana since I got into before the UFC. I used to, when we had our own shorts, I used to print the flag on my waistband, and I've been carrying the flag for the Cajun people because that's who helped me become who I am. That's why I moved back to Louisiana when my daughter was born, because I wanted to raise her in a place that has a sense of community and supports local. It's different. Lafayette, Acadiana area is different than anywhere else. I've traveled the world, and I love home. And I wanted my daughter to be raised around that. So, and I'd love to continue representing however that can be with the foundation, helping these other young fighters chase their dreams. Fighting has changed my life, and I come from Lafayette, Louisiana. It felt like, 18, 19 years ago, it felt like the bright lights in the UFC in Las Vegas were so far away. It was a pipe dream. And I made it happen through hard work. So I know these other kids can,
Dustin. What's up, champ?
What's up?
Question. What you got to say to everybody back in the 337?
Man, I can't wait to come home. I'm driving home, not flying flying home after a hard fight. I'm driving home. Me and my daughter already got a plan. We're going to watch a movie, pop some popcorn.
Nice.
Just be a dad. get back to the 337. I got to fly in with my team Saturday a week ago before driving here to New Orleans. So that was kind of nice. We had a few days to kind of decompress before fight week started. And I was gone 9 weeks, almost 9 weeks in South Florida training for this fight. So I just want to get home and be a dad, put on some long white socks, barbecue something, cut my grass, get back to normal life.
And what bourbon are we drinking to celebrate the retirement?
Man, we got to see. Probably Rare Stash. We got to see.
There we go.
Maybe some Blantons. I don't know.
All right. Thank you, champ. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dustin, is there a part of you that is more excited to, lay these gloves down and get back out in the community? I know you're going to have the backpack drive next month, and I know that's a big part of your year, getting to help all these underprivileged kids in the Acadiana community.
I'm sorry, what was the first part of the question?
Are you excited to, enter this next step of your life where you can really put your focus into the community and your family and your personal life?
Yeah, I got to, I put fighting's such a selfish sport. I put so many things on hold to chase these dreams and do these camps. And I just want to get home and get on a normal schedule with my family, get the backpacks. I have such a great, incredible team and community back home. The board of my foundation and family, friends, they all went in the warehouse when I was in camp and packed these backpacks, maybe 1,400 backpacks filled with school supplies. They did it all, and I wasn't there, And it's amazing that the foundation has grown that big. And August 5th, we'll set it up, first come, first serve, and get the families who need the school supplies so the kids can have everything they need for the school year. That's important to me. I just don't know what it's going to take to keep this thing going as strong as it has without this fight war memorabilia, because I've been auctioning off every fight and using this platform I have, building these fights to represent Louisiana and be a megaphone for the people whose voice isn't heard, So we'll see what kind of pivot we're going to have to do to continue raising money and making things happen. But that's always a passion of mine. I just spoke to Max. He's involved with some stuff in Hawaii that he helps out. So I think we're going to link up and try to do something big, Just keep this going. Keep fighting the good fight. Trying to leave the world a better place than you found it. That's the goal.
Finally, as a homegrown kid, I know you've probably been over to this arena on a number of occasions. Do you think that anything that you've seen here in the past compared to the level of volume that you heard tonight from everybody here in Louisiana?
I didn't hear the second round. I didn't hear the bell at all. Zero. I think my coach said I was still throwing elbows and punches and the door was already open. They were coming in the cage. I couldn't hear anything. No, it was crazy. It was crazy in there. Even before Max walked out, when they were still finishing my walk-in, it was like I couldn't hear my coaches talking to me, and they were standing right there on the cage in front of me. It's amazing. I love the support. But yeah, I've been to this arena a few times.
Thank you, Dustin.
Dustin, straight ahead. First of all, congratulations on an amazing career. As someone born and raised in Louisiana, thank you for being not an advocate just for the MMA, but for Louisiana also. And I got to ask, with everything going on this week, how were you able to just kind of focus on the fight once you got in there?
It's tunnel vision. Like I'm just muscle memory. Once that door locks and that bell rings, it's go time. I'm not thinking about anything else. The distractions more came this week, not fight night. It was more this week of people reaching out and all the interviews and trying my best to represent the state of Louisiana and talk about what we have going on in the culture here. Just getting pulled a lot of different ways, but fight night felt like any other fight night. It was a lot louder, and I felt the love, but it was no distraction at all.
And finally, with all the kids in the stands, what piece of advice would you give to the next Dustin Poirier that's out there and was watching you tonight?
To chase your dreams, whatever's in your heart. Don't listen to the critics. Don't listen to the outside noise. Really, if you have a goal, if you have a dream, you can make it happen. You really can. If you have the hard work, dedication, you can. Like I said in the press conference, you can move mountains. Things that seem impossible are possible if you really believe and work for it. Anything. No dream's too crazy.
Thank you.
Hey, Dustin, congrats on a great career. You're an inspiration to all the young fighters out there. I have a question. Can you talk about American Top Team and how it changed you as a human and as an athlete, the people you met, the people you trained together? Can you say something?
Yeah, it's a great American Top Team is an incredible gym. I moved there in 2012. I flew out, I spent a week there, flew home, and that same week I was home, I got a U-Haul, packed all my stuff, got a car hauler on the back of the U-Haul and drove there. just completely left home. I said I need to be here. I need to be training with these guys. Back home, I had great coaches, great training partners, but they were like part-time. You know, it was just like a hobby for them. When I went to American Top Team, the mats and the coaching staff was filled with people who do this for a living, and I knew I needed to be there. And yeah, I've been there since 2012 with the same guys who are in my corner tonight. You know, it's more than just coaches and training partners. It's family. You know, we've been through so many fight weeks, so many ups and downs, so many celebrating nights, so many crying nights, that we have a bond that you know will be forever.
My last question is, do you remember the moment you first fell in love with the sport, and what would that young Dustin Poirier think about the person that's sitting right there on the stage?
Yeah, I remember, you know, I started boxing when I was like 17, then I started fighting MMA when I was 18, and I just remember falling in love with the one-on-one competition that I couldn't point the finger at anybody but myself if something went right or wrong, and I just loved that, you know, because I always feel like I can count on myself, and yeah, I fell in love with it from an early age, and if I can talk to that kid, I would tell him it's gonna all be worth it, you know, it's gonna all be worth it in the end.
Thank you. You're a legend. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Dustin, thank you for your career and for the fight tonight in the back here. So this was your last fight, but kind of going off that last question, I wonder if you have any recollection of your first fight. And I'm not necessarily talking about UFC or professional fighting. I'm saying any scrap in the schoolyard, anything that first kind of had that impact on you.
Oh, I got a bunch of those. I don't know the first one.
Is there one that sticks out?
I remember my first mixed martial arts fight ever. I don't. Yeah, one does. My nose is bleeding a little bit. One does stick out. My wife just. I remember it was in middle school. My wife just transferred to the school I was at from a different school, and it was like one of her first weeks at the school. I got into a fight and I smashed the kid's head on the bricks, and his teeth went through his lip, and I got arrested and stuff. And she told me she went back home. We didn't know each other at the time. She told me she went home and told her mom that like some kid got arrested and all that. But I married her, so she married me then. So yeah, it worked out.
Thank you.
Dustin over here. Your wife Jolie has been by your side forever. What type of advice did she give you when she drove you to your first fight, and how has that advice changed?
Dude, I don't even know why I didn't have a car then. I might have been in between cars, and my car just broke. She had a car. She drove me to Texarkana from Lafayette, Louisiana. Then I fought in a rodeo arena over there. She didn't know what I was doing. You know, MMA wasn't really that cool back then. She was just supporting me. She was just supporting me chase my dreams. And yeah, I would wait for her to get off of work to use her car to go to the gym. I would ride a bike to work. And, you know, me and my wife been through it all at a young age.
Dustin, 15 years ago during the filming of Fightville, you refused to call yourself a professional fighter because you weren't exactly, providing for the family at that time through fighting. And now, on the day that you retire, you accomplished that goal and so much more. How does that make you feel, man?
It makes me feel good. You know, fighting mixed martial arts was a vehicle to get me to a place I could only dream of, to get my family to a safe place. My daughter's college is secured, you know, health care is secured. I just, I'm grateful that I was able to do all these things through chasing a dream. You know, I was doing something I actually love to do. It was never work. You know, even all these years later, getting ready for this one, knowing it was my retirement, it wasn't work. It was doing it out of love and passion. And that's what I'm kind of scared of moving forward, you know, not to have that, to fall back on. Fighting was always, the gym fighting was always my safe place. No matter what's going on in my life, I can go to the gym and bleed and sweat with these guys in the whole world. Nothing else matters, you know. So we'll see, yeah. Fighting has been so much to me.
Thank you, man. There's a lot of people that love you and appreciate you. I know, especially at ATT in Florida. You'll always have a place over there, man.
For sure. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. So look out for that.
They sound for Max Holloway, who becomes the first man in UFC history to defend the BMF title. 48-47 in the main event of UFC 318 in New Orleans. Max Holloway did exactly what he said he was going to do. He was going to play spoiler and hand Dustin Poirier a loss in his final fight. That's exactly what he did, as we put a bow on a very special night in New Orleans here on the UFC 318 post-fight show. I am Mike Heck, back with you. We just wrapped up the watch party, and joining me still, the one and only Mr. No Gray Area, Jed Michoud. And Jed, we are just minutes removed from Dustin Poirier's career coming to an end, and the BMF title fight coming to an end, and Max Holloway getting the job done. Pretty fitting way for not only Dustin Poirier's career to end, just going out in an all-out dogfight, round 2, one of the craziest rounds you will ever see. Both guys being badly hurt, both guys nearly finished, and Max Holloway just goes in there and gets the win, and what that means to him just encapsulates the moment, not just for Poirier, but for Max as well.
Yeah. It's not the most exciting way that Poirier's career could have ended. If he hit that Gilly in round
my
2,
God,
would have been ludicrous. But again, this is going to be a fight of the year contender. I don't know if this probably is currently the leader in the clubhouse for fight of the year. Would be my guess. It was very good. I frankly thought it was going to be even more. I thought it would be round 2 the whole way. Instead, we got round 2 in a very competitive, very interesting fight. Felt a lot, frankly, like Max versus Gaethje. There's a lot of that to it, where down the stretch, Max just kind of won because Max just kept going, and Poirier started to fade a little bit. But doesn't really matter. It's a hell of a way. Like, if that's how your career ends, there are no good retirements in the sport. That's a round as good as you can hope for, really. Like, you want to go out on a win, but there's just a fundamental difference between, like, Robbie Lawler fighting a Nico Price, who, like, it's not intended, but there is some disrespect to Nico Price there. Like, Nico Price ain't Max Holloway, And so to hope to beat somebody like that for your last ride is a really big one to sort of ask for. But if the way your career ends, it is a little fitting, because Dustin Poirier mostly didn't win the big one. He did win an interim belt. He beat Conor those 2 times, but mostly in his opportunity.
Max, no 0 for 6. How happy are you right now?
I'm pretty happy, man. Like I said, though, it sucks, I came in here to be spoiler. That's what I'm going to do. But it sucks to do it against a man like that, Like, I had to do it for against Korean Zombie. Now I do it against Dustin. This guy's just great people, Forget what they did in the fight game. They're just great human beings, man. They're just great people. And I got nothing but love and respect for him, what he did. He is a BMF in every sense of the word, man. He was up 2-0. Done gave me the opportunity to get him back in the last fight. That's what BMFs do. And this guy got to walk out with Weezy, bro. He got Weezy to put the belt on us, so that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, definitely. How different did he feel in there compared to 2019? Maybe not obviously the first fight, but the second one.
He stood crack. He stood hit hard as shit. You saw what happened in that 3rd round. In the first round too, I was like, oh yeah, I got him, and then I was like, what the hell, bro? This guy kept coming back. I kept forgetting that this is a retirement fight. His name is the Diamond, so I'm happy we got to give the guy the 5-round roar. I hope you guys gave shit to Dustin, not Dustin, but to Dana. How the hell did we not get fight of the night, bro? What is he thinking, bro? Come on, Dana.
Yeah, I said something to him.
Yeah.
He didn't give you an extra one. Sorry. Would have been unfortunate too, because I think Dustin's tied for the second most fight of the night, so it would have given him the record on the way out. But nevertheless, you got the win and handled it super gracefully. How hurt were you in that second round? And I guess how happy are you that you could show, all the questions about your chin, you can make it through a hard shot and come back, win the fight?
I was pretty hurt, bro. I can't say nothing. At the end of the day, I was calm. I was cool. I was just chilling. So I was happy that we got it done over there.
Yeah. If he didn't go for that guillotine and kept punching, would he maybe have you in real trouble there?
I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, But when he grabbed my neck, I was like, not today, sir. Not today, bro. You ain't getting your bronze statue in front of your house. Not on me, bro. You already submitted my ass one time.
Yeah, for sure. I guess how much did you learn from the Volkanovski trilogy that you were able to take and to apply to Fight 3 here?
I mean, nothing really, bro. This is totally different guys. You know, I got to share the octagon with 3 guys. You know, I thought with the Volk fight, Volk is just a different animal. You know what I mean? And that trilogy, I thought I did enough in the second one, but obviously I didn't. And then the third one happened, so it is what it is. That's just history now. You know, there's no reason to be soaking in the past, you know, or worrying about spilled milk.
Yeah. Well, I guess speaking of the past and thinking of the future, though, Dana was asked about a potential fight with you and Ilya again, and said it would probably be the BMF and the lightweight belt this time around. How much of a statement do you feel you made that you are the next guy in line at lightweight?
I've been telling you guys all week, man. This sport is about moments. This sport is about having moments. I'm glad I went here. I did this moment, and we see what happens. You know, if it's Ilya, the ball is in UFC court. You know, I mean, I'm down forever. If it's Ilya, it's Ilya. If it's the guy that he just beat, Oliveira, I have history with him. The whole top 10. There's a lot of fun fights for me here at lightweight, and I'm excited.
And just recap the point down moment this time around. Dustin was saying you were both looking up at the clock.
Yeah. When I saw Dustin looking at the clock, I heard my corner say 30 seconds. And I saw Dustin looking at the clock. I was like, this motherfucker's going to try to point down before me. You know what I mean? So I'm glad he let me do the point down. We did it, and that was fun.
And he kind of admitted you got the better of it, and he was forced to clinch up with you. So
2-0,
3-0 on the point downs, I guess you are.
It is. Yeah, it is what it is.
How? I mean, it looked like it was a big part of the game plan, but how important were those body kicks for you tonight?
It was huge. You know, I think so. The body kicks was the game changer, man. I think I landed some good ones, and he was saying too, oh, that was a good one in there. So at the end of the day, I think those body kicks help a lot.
Yeah. When you we just saw you at this weight, and you said about this camp, you really didn't have to worry about going back down and all that sort of stuff, so you could put on more size. It did look like you were hitting harder than perhaps we've seen you hit before. Did you feel stronger in there?
Oh, for sure, bro, for sure. After I hit him in the first round, I was like, oh my gosh, we might be out of here early. And then, he reminded me, you know what I mean? He reminded me, I'm the diamond. This is my retirement fight. I ain't going nowhere. So that guy is tough as nails, man.
Yeah. When I remember in the lead up to the first fight with Ilya, he brought his own BMF belt and stuff like that. Now, after this point, do you think he's earned a BMF fight?
Oh, for sure. At the end of the day, when the UFC didn't put it up, it is what it is. But it just makes no sense what he's doing, walking around with it, whatever. Did you see Islam walking around with a champion belt after beating Volk 2 times? You know what I mean? Like, it is what it like. The belt wasn't on the line. Get over it, brother. Why you spend money on a damn fucking belt? That's just crazy to me. I know you're rich now, but come on, that is a waste of money.
When you point down to the ground and the other guy sort of it does end up engaging in the clinch, is part of you disappointed because they negate the moment, or do you think, well, I get it, I just landed about 5 punches on you?
No, it happens. It happens. I land a couple good shots. I mean, me and him was hitting each other with some great shots. You know what I mean? And I was just glad I got to get the better of him. I'm glad I didn't clinch, but the shoe was on the other foot. Who knows? Maybe I would have clinched. But at the end of the day, I just happy he obliged, and I got to get the best of him.
Congrats, man.
Max over here. Congrats on the victory. Obviously, your coaches have played such a big part in your life, even though they're pretty low key. What's the biggest thing they've taught you outside of fighting?
Just be a good person. Be a good person, and they're great guys. You know what I mean? They keep me in check. I mean, they're. I mean, I can't say enough nice things about them. I love them. They look at me like I'm I'm their kid. I met these guys. They're all 10 plus years older than me, and I met these guys when I was a young kid, when I was 19, 20, and look at me like I'm a child to them. So I got nothing but love for them, man. I owe them a lot.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Max back here. You kind of embraced that villain role of, being the spoiler on Dustin's homecoming, his retirement fight. But just talk about the atmosphere from this crowd that got behind their hometown kid, and how cool was that?
I loved it, man. I loved it. I know I had to beg for the booze, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I got it. He deserves it. Like I said, if this was in Hawaii, brother, you guys getting booed, I was just talking to Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman, he married a girl from my part of town, Waianae, but more specific, when my wife is from Macau. His wife is from Macau, And I told Chris Weidman, if I ever fought you in Hawaii, they'll boo your ass. And he's like, my family probably boo my ass. So that's just how it is. That's how it would go.
Thanks, Max. Congrats.
Max, just one quick one. One thing that stood out about me after the fight was your son. He came into the cage. He went right up to Dustin, shook his hand, gave him a hug. Very respectful, man.
Oh, yeah.
How important is it for you to raise your son just like that, to be super respectful within the sport?
Awesome. I think my son's a better person than me, to be honest. He got his mother that takes really good care of him, my wife, Alessa, and he's a great human being, And finally, at least the last time we saw him, he was crying. So I guess he got to get one back, at least hugging Dustin, not crying.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys. Ain't no funeral like I told you guys.